So everyone, what might stress look like in us dads? Well, whether you're a new dad or an old dad, stress can look a little bit differently because of our personalities. And sometimes we internalize things, other times we erupt. And underneath all of that is just generally there's lots going on in our minds and we feel overwhelmed. And us men were once boys, we've learned to deal with that mostly by ourselves and sometimes with our mates, and also as we get older with our partners. But when there's more people to look after, there's just a lot more roles, a lot more responsibilities, and we can just feel frustrated, we can feel overwhelmed, and sometimes we can feel irritable as well because we're just problem solving and thinking and doing that mostly within ourselves because our partners are not as available to us when we're adjusting along the fatherhood pathway. So that's also something that makes it hard, is that we don't have the same level of time and connection with our partners, and we sometimes go it alone. And often dads don't get a chance to mix regularly with other dads and talk about the journey and what it's like. And all of us dads try to hold our own, look strong amongst other dads, and it takes time and trust to be able to kind of open up and talk about, hey, it's sometimes pretty messy and overwhelming being a dad. So it's really important that we recognize how we feel, whether it's irritable, overwhelmed or frustrated, and be okay to lead that conversation with other dads that we're amongst, because it's tough. It's the hardest thing we do. Sometimes it makes work look easy. Some of the other signs to look out for are that you don't have as much energy, you feel a lowered sense of motivation. Sometimes you just don't feel like you're getting the same amount of pleasure in life because it feels like you're living a really big change that's restricting your ability to take care of yourself. And most people don't realise that in the process of raising kids, your routines and in particular your sleep are disrupted, which can accumulate some sleep deprivation. Stress and sleep deprivation make it really hard to concentrate, to problem solve, and sometimes to interact and communicate with others as well. So, our batteries are running low, and we become irritable, grumpy, and a little bit disconnected from others. So look out for these signs and symptoms. Other things to think about are the stressors, the things that are changed in your life as a new dad. And some of those stressors could be that, your role or expectations, your position description as a partner has now expanded to that as a parent. And it's really sometimes unclear, how to, formulate yourself as a dad, and all the breadth and depth of things that you need to be aware of with children. You need to be orientated to your children's lives, their developmental stage, their medical conditions, as equally sometimes as your partner. And not only that, you've still got the roles and responsibilities of potentially continuing to be the primary income provider and managing all the other roles and responsibilities that come with being a partner. So the other stressors that are there for men are things like their time to connect with their partner, mismatched libidos, actually having quality time together where you feel connected and present with each other, where you can actually have the conversation when you need to, because often when you're raising children, time to talk is limited, and parents are really focusing on being highly responsive to their children, who are often demanding a lot more of their time. And then there's the stressor of being aware of what's happening in their school environment, their friendships. There's so many things that sometimes dads just feel overwhelmed and disorientated, just trying to track everything while continuing to provide for their family. So these things just combine and create a lot of stress. and disrupt the normal things that you might do to take care of yourself, take care of your partner, and yeah, get out into life in a way that like nurtures you. So it's really important that, you know, these stressors are acknowledged and that men talk about, you know, the stress, the helplessness, the sleep deprivation, the anxiety and the confusion that happens with this new role adjustment. And to keep talking about that, because it's really important that as we are raising children, we're developing ourselves as well. And that's really overwhelming, confusing at times. And not all of us have children that are easy to raise. You know, some people have children with disabilities or medical conditions. These things just take parenting to a whole new level of stress. And you need to have people around you, whether it's at work or in your family or in the different groups that you're in, where you can open up and say, man, it's tough, and get that support and get those words from other men that encourage you to keep going, but also to seek support for yourself as well, because sometimes you need to take care of yourself so you can keep taking care of your family. And that's a really important thing for men to know, is that it's okay to take care of yourself. It doesn't mean you're weak. It takes a lot of courage to do that, and men get a lot of respect when they talk about how they've done that. So I really encourage you to reach out for help if you get anxious, depressed, you feel helpless and overwhelmed as a parent. So as a dad of 3 children, I feel like I've got a fair amount of experience now in terms of surviving mentally well during fatherhood across all ages and stages and challenges. Things that I think are really important for us dads are finding that opportune time where you can exercise. And over the years, the best times have been for this before the kids are up, and that sometimes means you have to go to bed when the kids are going to bed early. And finding those early mornings where you're nothing to nobody, and you can just have a bit of time and space in nature, whatever it is you want to do, go into the gym, and really take that time as your time to invest and nurture yourself. That's really important, because the rest of the day when the family's up, as you know, or you're going to know, is going to be completely drained and taxed by everyone, including all the challenges of addressing the needs of your children and supporting your partner. So that's really important. The other part that I think is really important is that us men need to think about how we connect and nurture friendships around other dads. And part of that way where we can connect is being involved in some of the activities that our children are doing, and lingering around and having that chat with other dads or mums that are in the vicinity, and making sure that, you know, like where you do find you've got a great little connection, that you create invitations where the kids and the dads in particular can get together and do some stuff that the dads and the kids are going to enjoy, because that creates time and space for you around your interests, connecting with other dads, and also letting your kids probably free range a little bit more than the mums might feel comfortable with, which often kids really enjoy because they get to kind of explore a little bit more. Look, and I think it's also important that, you know, we think about how when we make invitations or we initiate social group invitations for other dads, that often leads to a reciprocation of that, where other dads are starting to think about, well, how can I take care of this group of men and their kids as well? And that kind of pays it forward, where everyone's benefiting, and it also creates time and space for your partners to have a little bit of time away from their kids as well, and just enjoy and relax in their own selves. So I think that's really important. Other tips and tricks, one of the things that I remember a well-known psychologist said to me just before I entered fatherhood, he said, Matthew, you realize that when you drive home today, you know, that is your time. Yep. So he said, listen to your music, call your mates, do all the things you need to do, but just 10 minutes out from home, realize that you're going to step into like warfare. Yeah, there's going to be 2 or 3 hours that are totally not yours, that you have to be highly present and engaged in the support team with your partner around the children's needs, whatever it takes, whether it's nappies, cooking the dinner, whatever it is. Just realise that you're not alone with that, and there's a whole heap of dads across Australia doing exactly the same thing, and doing that really reduces the stress on both you and your partner. That's really important. So whether it's cooking, or it's cleaning up, whatever it is, act as a team, and turn to each other after that and have some time when the chaos is finished, and just speak about how, wow, that was overwhelming. That's one more notch on the belt. We've got through that, and tomorrow's going to be a new day. And yeah, do something fun where you kind of feel connected and you feel present with each other. And that might be turning the telly off, having a cup of tea and a couple of pieces of chocolate together and going, wow, what a nightmare. And talk to your partner and say, how you going, my good friend? And let them talk, and they'll reciprocate that as well. So just some tips to get through the day, but realizing that you've got to take those times and be resourceful when you connect with your kids, when you take care of yourself, but also when you take care of your relationship after the warfare of 5 to 8, the arsenic hours. Okay, hope that helps.